Hi guys and welcome back. So today I'm showing you how to make a chai cake. Let's begin. So to get started on the recipe, you'll want to make the cake. So grab yourself a mixing bowl and place in your butter and sugar and beat the two together until they are lighter and fluffier in colour and consistency. This will take about 7 to 10 minutes, but you really want to put the work in now as the mixture should be much lighter and much fluffier, like what you're seeing right now. Then go ahead and add in your eggs one at a time, beating well in between each dish and being careful not to split or curdle the mixture, and repeat the process until you have no eggs remaining. Once all of your eggs have been incorporated, you can then go ahead and add in the vanilla extract, and I use quite a bit here. I use 2 teaspoons or 2.5 if you include the bits that dropped in, but the more the merrier, of course. And then just give the bowl a good scraping down, and this is just to incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on, so make sure you get the very bottom and the very top of the bowl, as that's normally where it doesn't fully incorporate. Then you can go ahead and add in the flour, raisin agent and spice mix, and just mix this on a low speed to start with, working you up to a medium-high speed, and if you feel that the consistency isn't quite right, feel free to add a tablespoon of milk at a time until you're happy with the consistency, but being careful not to overmix it. Then give the bowl a good scraping down, and this is just to incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on. Once you've got your cake batter, you can then take your lined cake tins and split the mixture between the three. Feel free to weigh it up, but I've been baking it long enough to do it by eye and get a pretty accurate result. Again, you can do it however you want. Just fill the cake tins and then spread and level them as best as you possibly can, then place them into the oven and bake them off. I will leave all the information in the blog post, which will be linked down below. So to make the buttercream, take a saucepan and place in your sugar and your water, then mix the two together until they are very well combined. Place it on the hob and keep an eye on it as you want it to reach 121 degrees Celsius. But while you're doing that, you can grab yourself a mixing bowl and place in your egg yolks and your whole egg and whisk together on a medium-high speed until the mixture goes from looking like this, which is quite yellow or orange, to a very pale yellow colour, and the mixture should have, quadrupled in volume and should be pretty thick. Then turn the speed down and gradually and carefully add the hot sugar liquid that we've just made that's come off the hob at 121 degrees and pour that in steadily until it's fully incorporated. Then you can crank the speed all the way back up and mix or whisk until it's cool to the touch, which you can touch the bottom of the bowl with the back of your hand, and it should have thickened a bit and gone pale. A bit like this. Then add in your butter a chunk at a time, incorporating it until it's fully incorporated. You will notice a change in colour and consistency as we're adding butter. It will make it more yellow, but will also thicken it up. If it doesn't, just place it back in the fridge, then whisk it up once it's solidified. Then I add in a generous amount of vanilla, which is around 2.5 teaspoons again, and then my spice mix. You can mix the vanilla and the spice together, but it doesn't make too much of a difference, and just whisk this in until it's fully incorporated, and you should see a slight change in the colour of the buttercream. Then give the bowl a good scraping down, and this is just to incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on. As an optional finish, you can go ahead and brush over the sponges with a generous amount of simple syrup. Again, this is completely optional and doesn't need to be done, but it does add some moisture to the cake if you intend to make it ahead of time. To start the decorating process, grab yourself a plate, board or stand and place a small amount of buttercream into the centre of it, and then press your first layer of cake on top. Then pipe buttercream on top and all the way through the centre, and then just smooth and level it out as best as you possibly can, and repeat this process until you've used up all 3 layers of cake. So starting from the bottom edge of the cake, you'll want to pipe your buttercream in rings all the way around the outer edge. Again, you can feel free to go and do a crumb coat, but for me, my cakes weren't too crumbly, and I knew that they wouldn't have that, they wouldn't break off and leave bits in the buttercream. So I just went with one single layer of buttercream, which is enough, as I don't like buttercream too much, as it makes the cake far too sweet. Don't worry about any holes or gaps that are in the buttercream. You can fill those in as and when you need to. Smooth it out and you'll be able to see where the imperfections are, and as you go around sometimes they fill themselves in. I always do that and then do the top, and then you have to go around the sides again because you'll have a scraggly edge right at the top. But that's completely normal. But again, if you've got a different way of doing it, do it whichever way works best for yourself. Once you're happy, you can then place it into the fridge to firm up for around half an hour. So around the bottom edge of the cake, I'm just using some of these bronze coloured sprinkles, just to add a bit of colour, texture, and because I really wanted to use them as I thought this would be the perfect cake for it. Then for the drip, I'm using this snowy blonde chocolate spread that I got from Sainsbury's at Christmas. It's still in date, don't worry, I'm just using it up. This cake was made last year as well, but I'm only just uploading it this year. Apply the drip as however you'd like to. I tried to vary them and I think I was quite happy with the end result anyway. Again, I like to place this into the fridge just until the drip has firmed up, and once it has, I pipe my finishing touches on top of the cake. As you can tell, I don't really like using a plain tip nozzle as I'm not happy with the result all the time, but hey, it works in something a little bit different. Then I just use some of the same sprinkles from the bottom edge of the cake on top of the cake just to use them up. So here is what the cake looks like once it's been fully finished and is ready to eat. I then cut into it to show you what it looks like on the inside. I know this isn't the most glamorous, but it's based off of my favourite drink, which is a chai latte. So when I go to a coffee shop, I will always try and order a chai latte. So this cake is inspired by that. But that's all for today, hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more from me, and I'll be back again very soon with another recipe, so join me then. In the meanwhile, don't forget to check out the description. There'll be a link to this recipe, a link to my blog, and links to all of my social media, so don't forget to go and follow me over on there. But that's all for today, I hope you enjoyed. Bye guys.